Yo, happy Monday out there. Happy Monday. As you know, it's me getting this done. So there's always going to be a little bit of technical difficulty. I think that's part of the deal. So, just kind of getting familiar with the new live situation and all the buttons and tools and all the cool stuff that I can incorporate into these live broadcasts. So, definitely having a good time enjoying that. So let me see here. Oh, who I got checking in? Drew, what's up, man? How you doing? It's been a long time, man. I've not seen you probably since graduation, 1996. And yes, that's how old we are. 1996. That's a long time ago. But definitely, Drew, thanks for checking in, man. Hope everything is good, man. It's good to see you on here. We just getting everything situated. We'll give everybody a couple minutes to jump on, man. And in the meantime, I hope everybody had a good weekend. Got a chance to relax a little bit, and now it's Monday. It's a different Monday. Obviously, everybody normally would probably be, headed to work or already at work. So it's a different Monday, but it's still Monday. There's still a chance to get better and get it done. Yeah, my man. It has been a long time, man. It has been a long time. So. Like I said, definitely good to see you, man, and all my Morovia people. Doing what we do, M-Town. I just want to give everyone a couple more minutes before we get started. So, this is our Monday morning chalk talk. This came about from basically, my 17 years now. I just did the math over the weekend. I started phase one 17 years ago, man. That's a long time ago. So I've really learned a lot throughout those 17 years and a lot of experience, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of good, a lot of bad, but we still at it, still getting it done today. So I'm still super thankful for that. So definitely, definitely that a lot of experience, man, that I want to pour out. So basically this Monday chalk talk, that's really where it stems from. It stems from, me, being the type of person that, I'd rather share that experience and share, things that I've learned, things that I've been through over the years with other people that are interested in, starting a business or may already have a business, and just give you some kind of, useful information. I think for me, when I first started business, it was very, very confusing. You know what I mean? It was a lot going on from, how to set up a corporation, from, do you want an S corp? Do you want an LLC? Do you want, what type of business do you want? Business plan. Those that don't know my story, when I first started phase one, I was 25 years old. And so during that time, it was a little bit different. When I started, I went to a business coach as a part of the SBA, the Small Business Association administration. I think it is administration. So went to the SBA, and my counselor there was a lady named Anna Seifert. Anna asked me very quickly, okay, that idea sounds great. Phase one sports, working with athletes, helping athletes get scholarships. Cool. Let me see your business plan. And I literally looked at her like, what? She's like, your business plan. I'm like, dude, I don't even have a business plan. That's how far off I was. I didn't even understand that, it's probably a good idea to have a business plan or something that resembles a business plan, so you can understand exactly what you're trying to accomplish, exactly who your audience is, who your competitors are, how much money do you need? What's going to be your overhead, your expenses? Whether it's an online business or a brick and mortar store, there's still going to be overhead associated with that. And so, I had to learn a lot of that stuff the hard way, man. Coming from a family that was into business, but more, I would say, more into business, but not into the business structure, and what I've learned now over the years, I just feel like I have enough information to be able to share with people that are in the earlier stages and just trying to figure it out and want to grow. And so I just look at this Monday morning chalk talk as that opportunity. So it's not a long one. This is a 15, 20 minute series that I'll do every Monday at 9 a.m. So Before I get into today's topic, man, make sure you guys tag somebody right now or share it. Somebody that needs to jump on, somebody that's starting a business, just started a business, or already running a business, and they're trying to grow it, they're trying to perfect it. Someone that may be in an industry, like for example, maybe a personal trainer, but don't just want to be a personal trainer for the next 40 years. They want to transition to maybe a facility or more online or things like that. So tag them, get them involved. Like I said, this is 17 years. I always want to say 16, but 17 years of experience that my job is to do what I wish someone would have done for me in those early stages. I wish someone would have took this complex, crazy business world and just made it simple and made it something that I could understand and something that I could just run off and get it done. And I think that was the gap, the learning curve of, it's one thing to read and look at a business plan, but it's another thing to have someone really just simplify it and just make it to where you get it, you understand it, and you can go out and execute. And that's really what I want to become. I want to become someone that you can sit down in a 15, 20-minute session like this, grab your notebook, take some notes, and be like, cool, this week I'm going to work on 1, 2, 3. And that's why I do it Monday morning Chalk Talk, because I feel like Monday morning, if you tune into this now, between Monday and Friday, you have some action items that you can execute throughout the week, over the weekend, enjoy yourself, relax, and then jump back on Monday morning and say, okay, what's next? And I guarantee you, if you do that, there's going to be some takeaways, going to be some good stuff. So with that said, hopefully you got some more people that you reached out to that need to jump on and need to hear this. So I'm going to get right into it. So last week we talked about this opportunity, this time, being quarantined, being down, having more free time. We talked about how this is a great time to analyze where you're at, in your life, where you're at as far as your job, your career, your business, really a good time to reflect. I mean, that's what I've been doing over the last 3-4 weeks, is really looking at where I'm at and, more importantly, where I want to go. So we already identified that this is a great time to start a business if you haven't already, especially if it's something that you've been thinking about for months, for years. You've been telling yourself, man, I should probably do this, or your friends, your family been like, man, you're good at that. Why don't you start a business? You know what I mean? Oh man, I love the way you do this. Why don't you start a business? For people that have, that kind of response from something that you do, something that you're passionate about, something that serves a purpose, something that people need, then this is a great time to start that business. Yes, the economy's uncertain right now. It's a lot going on with the COVID-19, but if you know anything about these type of situations, these become great opportunities for you to take advantage of it and basically start something that over the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years can become a great business that you can say, I started it during that crisis. I started it during that downtime. So don't look at this as a time to just sit back, relax, and just, sleep all day, Netflix all day. This is really a great time to start maneuvering through, your life and your structure, and more importantly, where you want to go. So that was last week. That was last Monday. That episode should be on our YouTube as well as our Facebook, I believe. So make sure you guys check that out if you missed it. So today we're going to basically take that next step. And so the mindset today is, you've already either started your business or you're in the process of starting your business. And this two topics or 2 points that I want to make today that I wish I would have dialed in a little bit tighter in those early stages of phase one. So the number one topic, which let me get right into it. Number one is going to be target market and audience. So your target market or your target audience. Now, everyone, I know you can look at that and simply be like, okay, cool. I know what my audience is. Everybody. My audience is anybody with money. You know what I mean? But in order to be successful, in order to be effective at marketing, effective at your message, what's the message that you're trying to get across? If you want to be effective with that message, then I would suggest before you just go start throwing stuff out and hoping it sticks and, blasting, messages and business posts all over the place, I would suggest that you take a step back and you go back to the drawing board and you first determine what is your target market. Who exactly are you trying to reach? So here's a good way to do it. It's not simple. A lot of people think this is a simple task. Oh yeah, I can do that right now. I know a lot of you are probably already thinking like, oh yeah, my target market is athletes. Okay. So let's say you're a performance trainer. Say you're in the industry that I'm in, which is athlete development. And you're like, I know my target market. It's athletes, high school athletes, grades 9 through 12, that play sports and want to get a scholarship. We can look at that, right? Okay. So what if I told you your market wasn't the athletes, it was really the parents? That's the kind of thought that this needs to bring up. Is it really the athletes? The athletes don't have jobs. They don't have a checkbook. They don't have credit cards, but their parents do. So in this industry, if you invest all your energy in just the athletes, are you being as effective as you should be? Should the parents be your target audience or your target market? But that's the kind of thought that this question should have for you. Who is your target audience, your target market? So here's a good way to do it, to identify that target market. Don't just take a random guess. Think of it like this. Here's a good way to think about it. Who is your perfect customer? Your perfect client? If you're in the service industry, who's your perfect client? Your perfect client may be, depending on what field you're in, your perfect client could be other businesses. You could have a product that you want to get into stores and things like that. So that target could be, other small businesses, because you're not at a point to where you can negotiate with Walmart and all the larger branch or larger retail stores. So what about the mom and pop spots? Like, what is your perfect target audience or person? And here's a good way to look at that. If you're already in business, go back, look at your clients, look at your customers, look at the ones that are consistent, the ones that have been around for years, the ones that just love you to death, the ones that tell their friends about how great you are and how great the service is or the product is or how much they need one. Identify those people. And once you identify, if you take, 5 of your best clients, you take those 5, your best ones, you put them in a circle. And then within that circle, you start to say, okay, what are the commonalities? What matches in this circle? They're all of them are between the age of 25 and 34. All of them are, into, computers. They're all into technology. They're all into whatever your field is. If you take those people and you create the commonality between those, that's a good way to define your target audience, because these are already great customers. They already have longevity. They've been with you. They refer people to you. They're an ideal client. So if they're ideal, let's identify the characteristics that they all have in common. Once you do that, guess what? That becomes your target audience. It's really, really that simple. So if we look at it and we say, cool, we're going to define it. We're going to put them in a circle. And then once we put them in a circle, what do these people have in common? Okay, they're all this age. They all into these kind of hobbies, or they all into these type of sports. Whatever it may be, that becomes the commonality. Now, the last piece to that, once you do that, the next step is what? How do you go get more people that look just like those 5? That becomes your target audience, your target market. And now all of your marketing efforts should go towards what? Towards that type of client. Now we don't have to spend money and time and energy just blasting information across the board and seeing what sticks. We should be directly targeting this circle. And once you do that, you're going to be a lot more effective. Number one, your results are going to be great. Your turnover, or excuse me, your conversion rate is going to be great. Conversion rate meaning the people that you reach, the people that respond, and then how many of them actually turn into customers, actual paid customers. That's your conversion. It's going to be higher If you reach 1,000 people, but of those 1,000, only 10% are really your target audience, that's not really effective. I mean, you can say it's branding, which we'll get into on another day. We can say, okay, that's branding. I want people to know my brand, and that's fine. But right now we're talking about your target. We're talking about your target market, your target audience. So that's going to be the best way to define that target audience and then attack that target audience, which is going to give you the best conversion. So hopefully that part made sense. Hopefully, you know, the light bulbs are on and you're going, okay, that totally makes sense. I got it. So now over the next couple of days, you can really sit down and you can say, who's my target audience? Who am I going after? You know what I mean? If you're already in business, like I said, the easiest way to look, who's your best customers? Who's your most loyal customers? Put them in a circle, identify the common between those 5, 10, 3, 20, however many people you put in that circle. What's the most common things in that circle of people that are your ideal clients or customers? Identify it and then go to the drawing board and create a marketing, a game plan, a strategy to attack that group of people. That's number one. Got it? All right, now let's go into number 2. So niche. Some people say niche. I don't know. I say niche. Potato, I don't know. Call it what you want. But we got to talk about it. Your niche market, your niche audience. So we just discussed target audience. So we know, okay, what's our target audience? We just defined that pretty clearly. So you guys should know right now exactly what your target market is, your target audience. So what if I asked you what's your niche market or your niche audience? Here's the difference. Your niche audience is this. Your niche audience is a subgroup. So basically a smaller group that's within your target audience. So look at your target audience as a larger group. So for us, for example, our most dominant sport is football, right? I played football, played at UNLV. That's how I got to Vegas, all the, you know, whole story. So football is obviously huge for phase one for myself. Our highest number of clients are football players. Now we have NFL all the way down to youth football. So what it would look like is this. My target, phase one's target audience is going to be, our athletes, our parents of athletes, for example, our parents. These are the ones that have young athletes. They're investing time, they're investing energy in these athletes, getting them training, supplements, nutrition, camps, combines, all these different events. So that could be my target audience, the big audience. So now a niche, which is a subgroup in that audience, could be football players. That's going to be the smaller group in that larger, because my target audience could be parents of basketball, football, soccer, softball, all these different sports. And these is 100% facts. These are all my target audience. They're all student athletes, I guess is one way to look at it. So they're all student athletes. So I could just say my target audience are student athletes and parents of student athletes. Now, my niche, what do I want to attack within that group? So now here's the benefit of a niche market or a niche audience. Now you can get even more detailed on that subgroup, that smaller group, which makes your marketing efforts even more effective because it's a smaller target. Anyone that's in marketing or understands marketing, they know it's the hardest thing to do is narrow down that audience. There's millions of people in the world. How do we narrow it down to the ones that would see our product, see our service, and say, I need that, I want that? That's the hardest part of marketing. So if you can identify your target audience, and then you can come right back and say, even within this target audience, what's my niche? For phase one, here's some of our niche audiences. Football, very high level. Even fitness competitors. We can say, okay, for this next season, we want to focus on fitness competitors. So if we go fitness competitors, now that becomes a smaller niche in our bigger target. And now we can go directly after people that have competed before, that always wanted to compete. Now our videos, our marketing, our photos are all geared towards what? That niche market. So now when that small group sees that, they say, yeah, I have been thinking about doing a competition. Or you know what? I just did my first one. I feel like I could have did a lot better if I had a coach, if I had a team, if I had a facility. So now they start seeing that. And by them seeing that, guess what happens? They start responding to those messages. They start calling. They start sending emails. They're filling out contact forms. They're coming in for consultations. And why is that happening? Because we took our target audience, we narrowed it down to our niche, our smaller group, and then we attacked that group. And here's the cool thing about your niche or your niche market, it can change. You know, for myself, what I like to do is at the end of every month, I look at all of our categories, you know, our, you know, youth athlete performance, our high school athlete performance, our physical therapy, our cryotherapy. All these are different groups or different revenue streams within Phase One Sports. So I can look and I can say, man, our cryotherapy was down this previous month. We need to focus on that. So now I go to that subgroup, that niche. What's that niche that is into cryotherapy? You know, they love cryo. They're constant. The weather is getting a little bit warmer. So as we kind of come out of this thing, people are going to want to go into that cryotherapy chamber, especially in Vegas. It's going to be 110, 115 degrees. So now I can just focus a lot of marketing efforts on that niche audience that loves cryotherapy. You know, so these are some strategy that you can use. So if I go ahead and kind of recap a little bit, you know, because I told you, this is going to be short and sweet because I want it to be effective. So if I recap, number one, target market, your target audience. The best way to identify it, if you're in business, take your best clients. I don't care how many clients you got. If you have 10 clients, pick who's the best three. The best three clients that you have. Draw their names on a board, put a circle around it, and draw arrows that say, what do these three people have in common? Are they all female? Are they all male? Is it both? Are they all between the age of, 25 and 30? Do they all have kids or do none of them have kids? You know, these are the questions that you have to ask yourself. And when you ask yourself these questions and the answers become your target audience, because if these are your three best, wouldn't you love to have 15 of them, 20 of them, 30 of that exact type of person? That's going to create a great business for you. Number two, we talked about our niche. Once we have that audience, once we have that group, we want to narrow it down. And now we can have a little bit of fun with our marketing and we can actually create subgroups. All right. So with my top 5 clients, 3 are women, 2 are men. These are my niche. It's co-ed. But now you can say, this is my target audience. It's co-ed. But now you can say, you know what? I just feel like I want to just target men for the next month. So now I could take a small group, a subgroup, a niche, men with these characteristics, and now I could just target them directly. So now I know what type of events I can go to. If there's a vendor, a booth that I want to set up, I know I'm going to set it up at locations that I know are going to cater more to men, depending on what your service is or what your product is. This can be it can be a car show. Men typically spend time at car shows. There's women obviously that love cars as well, but we would say the larger population will be men. So let's go to that. That's what we want to do. If your target's going to be, for phase one, if it's going to be youth football players, that's what I want to target, youth football players. So I'm going to get the schedule to all the youth games in the city. And now I'm going to go set up a table, set up a booth, set up a tent, or I'm just going to hit the parking lot, or I'm just going to hit the sidelines because I know all the parents of youth football players are going to be at this field Saturday morning between 8 and 2 p.m. That's my niche. I'm going after that one niche for that day, for that weekend. So that's going to be basically the way we want to break this thing down and how we want to basically execute it and become more productive and more effective in all of our marketing efforts. So once again, man, we're at the 25-minute mark. I want to keep these short and sweet, but I want you to get off of this live. I want you to go right to your whiteboard, to your notebook, and I want you to write number one, target audience, and I want you to start identifying that target audience. And then once you identify that target audience, now I want you to come off of that. And then go into your niche market and go into your niche. So So that's my summary. Now, let me see if there's any questions or anything here. I got Coach taking notes. Love it, love it, love it. Do you split test a lot? For me, this is a great question. So split testing, if you guys don't know what that is, it's basically where you have two versions or two type of campaigns. You split test basically to see which ones are going to be more effective. And I have started doing some split testing more recently, but for years I never did. And the reason I never did, one, because when you're just getting started, you don't have a lot of times the resources or even the understanding to say, you know what, I'm going to do a split test on this. But it's definitely very valuable to split test. But here's what I will say. If you're not that advanced to where, you're ready to do split testing and really study analytics and really break down each one and say, okay, how was this one effective? How was that one effective? What I would do, a simplified version of that, is really spend a lot of time on your target audience or your niche, whatever you're going after at that moment. And then just basically do a very good job of tracking the results, looking at your analytics, whether it could be as simple as how many people complete a form on your website. It could be as simple as if you're at an event, collecting email addresses and inviting them in, giving them a free week of training or whatever your service is and seeing how many people respond. And then based on those numbers, you can gauge how effective your message is. So that's just another way to do it and kind of create your own split test, or, go online and study split testing because it is very, very effective. So great question, Vincent. Appreciate that big time. Appreciate it. And then you mentioned, or the leads, and here's, so another part of it in which we're not really the focus today. So another part of it is option one, or number one and number two, which is target audience, target marketing. Your niche is also going to do what? It's going to generate those leads, like Vincent is talking about. It's going to generate those. So in another chapter, we'll discuss, or another episode, we'll discuss how effective those leads are, the quality of those leads, and then also the conversion of those leads. I think that's going to get a little bit deeper. I wanted to keep today more on that surface level, which I feel like we accomplished for sure. And so hopefully you guys have something to take with you today to just go through those two steps. Even if you're already seasoned, even if you're already a business owner, even if you're already, making great money and everything's great, still every couple months, it's always a good idea to go back and redefine your target audience, because it changes. It may not be the original target audience that you set after in the beginning. For me, example, for Phase One Sports, obviously all these years, my target audience has been very similar: athletes, athlete performance, but in the last year and a half, now that I've been doing a little more business coaching, a little bit more speaking, things like that, my audience has really started to change a lot. Now a lot of my audience are other trainers that have other gyms or own facilities, ones that are online, ones that are even in the process or have a goal of opening locations. So that target audience has changed. So it's always good to redefine that and reassess that target audience and and continue that process, man, because business is fluid. Business is always changing. There's always pivoting. There's always moving. But that's really the goal. So once again, man, we're right at the 30-minute mark. I really, truly appreciate you guys. Vincent, thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for chiming in. Share it, guys. I'm definitely going to keep this on the page for you guys to go back, take a look at it. Anyone that tuned in late, you can go ahead and rewind and start from the beginning, man. Some great value here. And that's really what it's about, for me to try to give value and just give, and then also open up great conversation like Vincent here, which I think is awesome, man. Being a business owner is about perspective. It's about community. And if you know something, man, you got to share it. Don't be the type of person that holds it all in. Share it. It also makes you better. It also opens you up to be able to receive more. So I just want to say thanks, man. And, thanks for tuning in and thanks for being a part of it. Drew, thanks for sharing, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. So once again, this has been Monday Chalk Talk with Mike Waters. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Set your notification. And I'll see you guys next Monday. This coming Wednesday night is Wednesday Conversation, where I always have a special guest on, because just like you guys, I like to get a different perspective. So Wednesday night, 7 p.m. is going to be Wednesday conversation. And we're just going to keep going from there, man. So you guys have a great week. Be successful, man, and keep winning. See you guys on the next one.